Hi everyone and welcome to Venture Forge's workshop on the A to Z of Amazon's success in 2021. Amazon has been one of those topics that has always been a hot potato for retailers, brands and manufacturers alike, often thinking should we sell on the platform because there's great sales demand there, or shouldn't we sell on the platform because it might upset customers in our other sales channels. Throughout the COVID pandemic, that question has become even more prevalent, with Amazon being one of the fastest growing sales channels for brands, particularly at a time when their other sales channels might have been closed and their business might be struggling if it wasn't for their online sales. Today we're going to take you through what it takes to become successful on Amazon in 2021 and hopefully demystify some of this for you. I'm Andy Banks and I'm the CEO of VentureForge, who are a global Amazon consultancy working with brands across the world to help them grow their sales on Amazon across the UK, Europe, North America and beyond. I've come from a background of working in agencies and retailers and working with brands of all sizes for the last 20 years to help them grow their sales online. More recently, I started VentureForge, seeing the huge growth in Amazon for brands, but also the challenges that brands were having growing the sales consistently and profitably in that platform. At VentureForge, we deliver strategic thinking coupled with operational excellence to help drive sustainable and profitable sales growth for brands on Amazon. By getting the right strategy in place for a brand, we can help drive high sales growth, profitable return, and brand acceleration in the world's largest sales platform. Our services at VentureForge are designed to take a brand from nowhere to highly successful on Amazon, and we have a fully outsourced service for brands that can take them all the way from account creation and optimization, all the way through to high sales growth through an account managed and commercial service. Some of this will become more obvious why this is important when we take you through some of the challenges in growing a brand on Amazon today and some of the opportunities open to brands that want to succeed. With over 25 years worth of Amazon trading experience across our team of dedicated experts, VentureForge takes pride in working with brands across a large number of ASINs, driving great sales growth, typically 1,300% across the board for our clients last year, and driving most of our business growth through client satisfaction and referral. Our team of dedicated experts have been deliberately recruited from people that have been there and built their own Amazon business in the past, rather than agency people who run a set of services for clients. Every member of our team has their own or has in the past run their own Amazon business, so has been there, done it and bought the t-shirt when it comes to building successful businesses on Amazon. Before we go on to talk about how to be successful on Amazon, let's take a quick look at why Amazon is important for brands today. Amazon is by far the UK's largest marketplace and in 2020 generated 19.5 billion of retail revenue from the UK alone. A lot of that growth came through COVID, and we'll talk about how successful that was for Amazon in the next few slides. But looking at the Amazon customer base, 90% of the UK shoppers use Amazon and some 70% of those buy from Amazon every month, 17% every single week. Amazon, from an e-commerce point of view, has around 30% UK e-commerce market share. And of the customers that buy on Amazon, 15 million of them have Amazon Prime. And you'll come to see how important this is as we look at some of the key success factors. When you look at how people buy online more generally, 56% of product searches now start on Amazon. So when the UK consumer is going online to buy something, they now start on Amazon rather than starting on Google. And of those searches that start on Google, 25% of them search on Google, but then go directly to Amazon after that search. Just from that alone, you can see the sheer importance of Amazon and how it starts to become much more important from a UK retail point of view, but also how it's to become more important from a search marketing point of view as well. Consumers start their shopping journey on Amazon, and when they don't start it on Amazon, they almost always end up on Amazon as a next step. If we take a quick look at Amazon's growth over the last few years, their growth from 2019 to 2020 was phenomenal. 51% year-on-year growth, and as you can see from the chart on the right-hand side, that's their biggest step up in any financial year in recent history. Even taking the COVID pandemic and the real kind of growth that drove for Amazon in that year out of the picture, each of the previous 3 years has still seen 25% year-on-year growth. So when you think about their sheer market dominance, but couple that with continued and clear growth each financial year, Amazon's dominance in the UK e-commerce market is only set to continue. I think one of the other things that's really important to see is Amazon's clear strategy to drive Prime members to their business. Prime is important, as you'll come to see, because it drives loyalty within the Amazon customer base. But over the past year to two, there's been a real drive from Amazon to drive Amazon Prime memberships at all costs, even to the point where their production of Amazon Prime video content is rumoured to be based around driving content that will drive more Prime subscribers to ultimately drive more retail customers for their business. A real clear strategy to drive customer growth and retail revenue growth in the UK. Looking at Amazon's customer base, they can only be described really as a mass market general retailer. Although they're an online player, they cover almost every category, and they really are much more akin to a general retailer than anything else. That said, they've got a really unique proposition that is the core to driving Amazon's growth and loyalty. And if we look at three key points here, Amazon attract a value-conscious customer, and from their consumer base, they're assumed to be the best on price. This has been a really clever play for Amazon. When you look at some of their mechanics about how you win the buy box and how you rank well on Amazon, which we'll come on to in more detail, price is a key factor. It's also important to point out they're not always the cheapest, but their value proposition leads consumers to feel they are the cheapest, or are often close enough to the cheapest to avoid that consumer having to shop around. Amazon are renowned for their customer service and their A to Z guarantees, so no matter what you're buying on Amazon, the consumer has this great belief that Amazon's customer service guarantee is there and that whatever they buy will be backed by the Amazon A to Z guarantee. And then finally, their free next day delivery on almost everything. Now, this is really important because it's for their Prime members, but a Prime member is paying for the free next day delivery service through their annual membership. But it does mean that there's a huge customer base on Amazon that always have free next day delivery. So whatever that consumer wants, there's an assumption that the price will be right, the customer service will be fantastic, and the delivery, it will almost always be next day and free of charge. And that pretty much has made Amazon the go-to retailer in the UK for that I need it tomorrow or that I can't be bothered going to the shop kind of purchases. It's that lazy evening purchase, be it the cat litter that you forgot to buy or the cat litter that you just don't want to lift up in a big bulk bag and put into the boot of your car. It's the kids' nappies, it's the kids' consumables, it's the printer ink, it's the bike components, it's almost every product that you can imagine that is now available on a next day delivery service with a great price guarantee and a great customer service proposition behind it. I think to sum that up, it's really a level of convenience that you don't really see anywhere else in e-commerce. That general retail proposition mixed with great service and great delivery, there really aren't many people out there competing on all of those fronts against Amazon in the UK today. We look at what all of that means for brands, so just come away from Amazon for a second and look at what this means for brands on Amazon. All of that really creates a sales channel that can drive additional growth for brands outside of their owned direct sales channels. When you look at what Amazon brings for brands, there are a huge number of customers in market ready to buy today. There's latent demand across almost all product categories, and by that we mean huge volumes of people searching for products that most brands sell on Amazon today, and therefore a demand that brands can tap into to grow their sales in that channel. It also gives brands access to brand new customers that are bought into Amazon's convenience and value proposition, but may not necessarily be buying into your brand today because you don't offer that through your own sales channels. And for brands that are looking at Amazon as a channel, it represents more of a direct sales channel rather than a marketing channel. There are certainly aspects to Amazon that are marketing-led, advertising, organic sales ranking, conversion optimization, these things that typically live in marketing or e-commerce teams, but Amazon does behave more like a direct sales channel than, let's say, Google or Facebook advertising. I think most importantly, your competitors are already there. Most brands are now selling on Amazon in one way or another, whether that's selling directly to Amazon, whether that's selling through Amazon, or whether that's selling into the wholesale market and your wholesale customers selling on the Amazon sales channel. Most brands are on Amazon, but most importantly, your competitors of one size or another will be on Amazon today and will be selling relatively successfully. So let's talk a little bit about how Amazon works. On Amazon, there are two ways of selling, which can be described as Amazon vendor or Amazon seller. What we've called out on here are some of the key differences or key points around each of those different selling models. Let's start first with Amazon vendor. On Amazon Vendor, you're selling to Amazon. It's very much the same as a B2B wholesale relationship for a brand. It's more like a B2B model, typically managed by the sales department within a brand. So you often see an Amazon vendor relationship being managed through national account managers or strategic account managers, sometimes in more mature brands with some technical e-commerce expertise in there as well. It's typically about bulk quantity orders, so shipping in pallets or often container loads of goods to Amazon, and having a commercial relationship with Amazon about the price that they will pay for those goods, and having regular annual negotiations with Amazon around pricing, rebates, etc. Because Amazon are buying off the brand as a B2B offer, Amazon then control the retail price when they sell that product on their platform. For a brand, there are positives and negatives to this side, and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about the Amazon seller model. Almost every product on Amazon Vendor benefits from Amazon Prime because Amazon then take care of the distribution of those goods to the consumer, and they hold those goods in their warehouse and handle logistics via the Amazon fulfillment network. Despite Amazon buying these goods from the brand, Amazon doesn't magically sell these products onto consumers. To sell the products from Amazon Vendor, you still need to take care of listing the products on Amazon, advertising the products on Amazon, and marketing the products on Amazon. It's a bit of a myth that by selling to Amazon, you will instantly be more successful and that Amazon will take care of all of the selling for you as a brand. That's absolutely not the case, and you still need to manage the Amazon relationship from a commercial point of view, but also from a technical and a marketing point of view as well. There is a slight advantage to being on Amazon Vendor, and that is if you're selling a product where multiple people are selling the same products from your brand online, selling through Amazon on Amazon Vendor often gives you an advantage on the buy box and will ensure if all of the things are equal and particularly price is equal, you will win the buy box for your goods going via the Amazon Vendor route. Looking now at Amazon Seller, it's a slightly different model where instead of selling to Amazon, you sell through the Amazon platform to the end consumer. It's more akin to a B2C model, and this typically sits then in a brand with either the e-commerce team or the marketing team, but sometimes there's still that connection to an internal sales team as well. With this being more like a B2C business, this is all about single item orders. So this is the consumer ordering your goods through Amazon and you having to take care of the distribution of those goods to the consumer, unless you sign up for one of the Amazon distribution schemes, which I'll talk about in a second. In terms of commercials, there's a set referral fee structure. So if you sell your goods on Amazon, there's typically a 15.3% commission on your gross price, including VAT, charged by Amazon for selling your goods through that platform. That fee does vary per category, but typically it's 15.3% unless there's an incentive or a category discount in place. One of the big differences here is that the retail prices are set by you, the seller. So for a brand, this does give you more control over your brand in that sales channel, more control over the pricing, and allows you to align that pricing strategy on Amazon across your other sales channels, which can be an advantage to many sellers. I said earlier that this is all about single item orders and the brand has to take care of its distribution. That strictly is the case, but to help with that, Amazon offer a number of schemes to help take care of that distribution for you and also to give you access to the Amazon Prime box. The main scheme there is Amazon FBA, that's Fulfillment by Amazon, where Amazon will hold your goods in their warehouse as a service. They'll charge you for that storage and they'll charge you for delivery. But by being on that scheme, you benefit from the Amazon Prime box and typically also benefit from cheaper delivery rates than most brands can do themselves. As with Amazon Vendor, Amazon doesn't magically create sales demand for your products. You still have to take care of listing your products, ranking well and succeeding on Amazon. Price on this model typically wins the buy box, and if multiple people are selling your product and you're competing against other people selling your product, price is still a key factor here for success on Amazon. There are two ways that consumers shop on Amazon. There's a searching approach and there's a browsing approach, and why this is important will become clear as we start to talk through the success factors for Amazon today. On the left-hand side, you've got what browsing looks like, and very few consumers actually do this on Amazon. Our data suggests that this is no more than 10 to 15% of Amazon's consumer behaviour. And Amazon has deliberately built itself more like a search engine, and as you can see on the right-hand side, this is a more familiar way for people to shop on Amazon. They have a need for a product, they go onto amazon.co.uk, They search for that product and then get presented with what feels very much like a traditional category page, but is predominantly search driven as in terms of a consumer buying journey. All the evidence that we've seen supports that consumers treat Amazon much more like a search engine than a traditional e-commerce website. So perhaps it's no surprise that this is exactly how Amazon operates and how they think about their own business. To be successful on Amazon today, brands need to think about Amazon as a search engine and create compelling search engine optimization, paid search marketing, and conversion optimization strategies specifically for the Amazon platform, rather than seeing Amazon as a B2B sales channel or a list and hope sales channel where they upload their products and hope that a business will grow behind the scenes. With that in mind, let's talk about some of the foundational principles for building an Amazon business. First of all, great listings are an absolute must. Amazon is now mature in almost every product category, so brands can no longer simply rock up, upload a simple listing and expect to compete. You also can't compete by just having a better listing. So you've got to have exceptional listings right from the outset to even stand a fighting chance of succeeding on Amazon. Some of the points I'll call out here, really simple, obvious points, and these aren't going to be game changers. These are the absolute fundamentals. You've got to have a keyword-rich and compelling title. Use all 5 bullet points and make sure they're both relevant and keyword-rich in terms of what consumers are searching for. Use all of the description field, have really good keyword-rich but also compelling sales copy. The description isn't really used by Amazon in terms of indexation, but it is used by Google in terms of indexation. So keyword optimization here is still important, but most importantly, think about compelling copy that can also convert a customer. Use all of your available images, but make sure the images that you're uploading are selling the product features and benefits, as you can see from the listing we've got on the right hand side for one of our clients calling out the range and the product that is available. Don't just upload 7 images to fill the slots. You've got to think about how to sell the product to the consumer through the use of imagery. Use all of the available backend keywords to help Amazon understand how to rank your product. Make sure you use all of the enhanced brand content and all of the A+ content available to you, and make sure that you've got category relevant price positioning. That doesn't mean you've got to be the cheapest. It certainly doesn't mean you've got to be the most expensive, but make sure that the price ranges you're launching within are relevant to the categories you're selling the product in and that you're not operating at an extreme. Please use GS1 barcodes. All products on Amazon now require a barcode. And from Amazon's guidelines, these strictly should be one or potentially one or more of a manufacturer barcode. And when we say please use GS1 barcodes, this is where that is important. All the barcodes you use must be legitimate and owned directly by you rather than grey market or bulk bought barcodes through other marketplaces. Amazon will also accept an Amazon barcode, but this is typically on consumable products or topical skincare products, etc. This is where Amazon needs to understand a little bit more about the product. Typically a sell-by date, typically a consumption date will drive the need for an Amazon barcode over and above a manufacturer's barcode. Thirdly, there's an Amazon transparency barcode. These are much rarer, but this is where a brand will look to use an Amazon barcode in the transparency scheme to verify that the product they're selling to the consumer is authentic, and this scheme is often used by brands that are having fraudulent copy issues on Amazon. But first and foremost, you must have a manufacturer barcode that is legitimate and owned by you and not grey market. Amazon has long said that barcodes must be legitimate and from a legitimate source, but more so now they're clamping down on that. And by using a grey market barcode, you run the risk of having your listing ultimately removed at a point in the future. Moving on to stock, a key driver in the Amazon search algorithm, which we'll come on to, is sales velocity. Running out of stock really hurts your sales for very obvious reasons. Number one, it costs you immediate sales loss. If you haven't got the product, you can't sell it, and of course that will then impact on your sales velocity. By reducing your sales velocity, that then reduces your search ranking on Amazon, which of course then reduces your sales velocity even further, as you'll ultimately rank lower when you come back into stock because you've had a lower sales velocity. That then costs you significantly more in lost sales than just the time that you were out of stock. So maintaining good, consistent stock cover on Amazon is much more important than it is on any other sales channel because it costs you for a much greater period than just the period you're out of stock. We always advise operating Amazon on a minimum of 30 days stock cover. Many of our clients try to operate on 90 days stock cover, and this brings with it lots of advantages, but primarily it's the benefit of keeping your sales velocity because you're in stock, but also some operational advantages by not having to send stock into Amazon too regularly and benefiting from a lower logistics cost per unit when you ship those goods into Amazon. Advertising is huge for Amazon's success, and that may sound obvious that by using Amazon advertising, you can drive more sales. But when you think about the importance of sales velocity, it becomes a bit more critical to driving sales through every opportunity that you've got. To give an example here, consider the two products that we've pulled out here in these two lists. The first product, invest in Amazon advertising. It promotes Amazon as a sales channel in all of its other marketing, and it focuses on the overall profitability of its Amazon business, not just the profitability of its advertising campaigns. If we look at product number 2, an identical product, same listing, same pricing, but product number 2 doesn't invest in Amazon advertising. It treats Amazon very much as a standalone sales channel and doesn't talk about it in its other marketing. And if it did run advertising, it would only ever run advertising if the campaign stood up to a great profitability level in their own right. Of course, in that example, product number 1 is going to have a greater sales velocity overall. The advertising will drive more sales. The off-Amazon advertising and promoting the brand in its other sales channels as being available on Amazon will drive greater sales velocity. And by not necessarily focusing on profit of advertising, but profit of the overall account, they'll be more willing to drive more sales through advertising at a higher cost. Ultimately, product number 1 will have a greater sales velocity and will rank much higher. So when you're looking at advertising on Amazon, it really is much more important than just using advertising to drive incremental sales. It's a really core part of any Amazon strategy to drive overall sales velocity, which will drive higher rankings and will drive greater sales overall. So now we're comfortable with the concept of Amazon being a search engine and some of the foundational principles just to even start a serious Amazon strategy. Let's talk now about the A10 algorithm and what it is and why that's important for your 2021 Amazon strategy. Let's start with what is it. A10 is Amazon's search algorithm, and quite simply it's that thing that decides what products to show in what order to each customer when they search for something. Very similar to the Google search algorithm, it decides what appears at the top and what appears at the bottom of Amazon's search listings. As the name suggests, A10 is the latest version, with A9 being the previous version, and Amazon's algorithm updates regularly, meaning that brands need to be constantly on top of what it takes to become successful and rank highly within Amazon's search engine. Ultimately, to be successful on Amazon, you as a brand have to know what makes that algorithm tick and how to build your business to play to the strengths of that algorithm if you are to succeed on Amazon. So let's take a look at what's changed coming into 2021. First up is click-through rate, and Amazon now puts a much bigger focus on the click-through rate of your product from a search results page through to the item page from a consumer. That plays a much bigger role in the algorithm, and the higher your click-through rate, typically the higher your ranking will be on Amazon. By far the biggest opportunity to influence this is your photography, and looking at the first image you submit to Amazon for your listing, which is the image that Amazon features on its listing pages or its search results pages. A picture speaks 1,000 words, and here are our 4 tips for taking advantage. First of all, stick to Amazon's rules. Amazon are very clear that your first image has to be a white background cutout shot, and although you can technically upload other images, you're highly likely to get your listing pulled or yanked in Amazon terminology and have to go back and start again. Break those rules too many times and that will become too detrimental to your account. So although there are short-term advantages to be had, long-term it doesn't pan out as a strategy and it's not something we would recommend. Looking at the 3 other points, they all come together, and the most important of these is looking at the competitors that you're ranking against and trying to take market share from, and finding an edge for how you can make your product stand out more so the consumer ultimately clicks through to your product and buys your product. And the 2 areas here are all about selling your product, 1, functionally, and 2, emotionally. How can you use that white background cutout shot to clearly show what your product does, what problem it solves, and what role it would play in the consumer's life. Secondly, think about the emotional attachment and the brand level attachment that a consumer would have with your product. Typically, this is very difficult to do on a white background, cut-out shot type image, but there are ways that you can show your product, be it the lighting that you use, be it the setting that you put it into, whether it's with props to show what the product does, ensuring you still comply with the white background cutout requirements, trying to get that product to resonate with the consumer, not just in terms of what it does, but how it would make them feel as a user of your brand once they've bought that product from Amazon. Content relevancy is now much more important in the A10 algorithm. It always has been important, but it now seems to be weighted even heavier within the latest iteration of the algorithm. Making sure that your content is keyword rich for the core terms that have got search volume behind them is of course important, but also make sure you cast the net wide enough for consumers that are searching for products within your market. A good example here might be somebody selling clothing and having a pair of denim jeans that they would typically go after: denim jeans, ladies jeans, men's jeans, kids jeans, etc. in terms of search terms. But broadening that net out to look at size variations, style variations, and colour variations on those keywords is really important to making sure that you're ranking the product for the more medium to long tail search terms that a consumer is looking for. Conversion rate comes into play here as well, because conversion is also a key part of the Amazon algorithm, and trying to get the balance right between keyword rich content but also persuasive sales copy is one, very, very difficult, but also two, a really good opportunity to get your sales flying on Amazon, because you'll not only rank well, but you'll also convert well, and those two things will play together. Make sure that you're writing copy that utilises keywords in every single aspect of your listing. It maximises all the content options open to you, and by that we mean the titles, the bullet points, the description, enhanced brand content, and maximise every single character opportunity that you've got within the Amazon backend. And also make sure you're balancing keywords with conversion. There's no point in building a listing that will rank really, really, really well, but not convert people because it reads like it was written for an algorithm. Equally, there's no point in writing great on-brand persuasive sales copy if that copy is not going to make that listing rank for the search terms that the consumers are searching for. With sales velocity possibly being the biggest ranking factor on Amazon today, there's a real catch-22 situation that in order to rank well, you've got to sell well, and in order to be selling well, you've got to be ranking well. Ultimately, the more you sell, the higher you rank. And with Amazon being a very mature retailer now and almost every category having mature sellers within there, this makes it very difficult for brands to enter the space and to be successful. What you've got to consider as a brand is how can I drive the highest possible sales volume in the shortest time frame possible relative to the competition that I'm up against in my category. And our tips for maximising those opportunities are as follows. Fundamentally, this is all about driving traffic on Amazon or to Amazon through your products in every single way that you've got open to you. So number one, make sure you're maximising every single advertising opportunity on Amazon, whether that's for keyword targeting adverts, product targeting or ASIN targeting adverts, category level targeting, storefront advertising, whatever it may be. Make sure that you're in and maximising spend through every single advertising opportunity that Amazon gives to you. We talked earlier about thinking about the profitability of advertising on Amazon very, very differently. And if you're taking as a brand a campaign-based approach to profits and making sure your campaigns are profitable in their own right, that's really shortcutting your ability to rank well and sell well organically. And by taking a more holistic approach to monitoring profitability on your account at an account level, you'll be able to sell more, rank higher, and grow your sales and profit for the longer term in a much better fashion. Secondly, drive traffic to Amazon for your brand from every single media source that you've got possible. This might be your email database, it could be your social media advertising, it may be your above the line and traditional advertising. If you're driving traffic through Amazon from your other marketing channels, Amazon will see that as greater traffic coming in, which will ultimately drive more sales, increase your sales velocity, and help you out compete the competitors in your category. Finally, look at things like subscribe and save, and if the product that you're selling is appropriate for a subscription model on Amazon, get your product enrolled into there, accepting yes, you will be giving a discount of typically 5 to 10% away for every repeat order, But that has two advantages. One, you drive repeat business and build a loyal customer into your product listing, but also it drives an increased sales velocity, which will help support your sales rankings across your products organically and build you a bigger business in time outside of subscribe and save as well. Think twice about discounting. Prior to the A10 update, dropping prices was a really quick way of driving increased sales velocity. Pure price elasticity meant that if you dropped your prices, you would sell more, you would rank higher, and that was a tactic often used by brands to try and grow sales and rankings as quickly as they could do. This is now much less effective and actually can be detrimental. So our tips for discounting and trading on Amazon are as follows. Number one, trade Amazon as you would any other sales channel. Don't think about dropping prices to drive sales velocity, to drive rankings. That's old hat and no longer works in the way that it used to. Trade Amazon in the same way you would your own e-commerce website or any other third-party retailers, with sales events and discounts appropriate to where you are in your trading calendar or around the trading events within Amazon. Don't try to game the algorithm with price crashes. We've seen many examples where price crashes actually get treated as price gouging. That ultimately pulls your listings down for a period of time, and then you've got to fight back from there with an even lower sales rank because your sales velocity has dropped even further. Don't take this as us saying don't run promotions. Absolutely do run promotions and do trade Amazon, but think more around 20% off discounting, 25% off discounting, not 75% off to crash a price and drive a sales ranking. And finally, work within Amazon's promotional opportunities. Look at Prime Day, look at 7-day deals, look at the flash sale type opportunities that Amazon brings to brands and take part in those. If you don't take part in them, your competitors in your category are likely to. They will gain a higher sales velocity and that will benefit them longer term rather than benefiting you. So do take part in Amazon's deals, as you need to maintain or at least use it as an opportunity to drive a greater sales velocity versus the competition. Make sure as a brand that you're being price competitive both on and off Amazon. We've seen the A10 algorithm pay much more attention to your items being competitively priced within its category, but also off Amazon and within other retailers. We've seen examples of listings being pulled from Amazon because other third-party retailers of that product are crashing the price for a discount-based event. From a brand point of view, you may not be able to control all of that. You may not be able to control how third parties sell your product, but be aware that this now has a detrimental impact on Amazon if other retailers are heavily discounting your product versus the prices you're selling at on Amazon. So our guidelines here are quite simple. Make sure that your prices on Amazon are one, in line with the competition on Amazon. You can't sell a product that is radically outside of the price parameters of your category. And make sure that it's also aligned with your pricing strategy off Amazon as well to ensure that Amazon continue to list your product and put their advertising weight behind it as well. Reviews now matter more than ever, and I think it's old news that reviews on Amazon are very important for driving success. What Amazon customers are looking for are well-priced, quickly delivered, high-quality items, and we know that the algorithm has always looked at quality through consumer reviews, and that is the number of reviews and the rating that these products are getting. This has just now become much more important within the A10 update. Our guidelines here are to go quite simply after positive reviews at all costs. And our tips here are, number one, use the Amazon review schemes. Amazon seem to be completely revisiting their reviews model at the moment, or their reviews generation model for brands. And we've seen things like the early review program be taken away. Vine is now becoming a fully payable scheme. But even though it's fully payable and chargeable by Amazon, it still does give brands the quickest opportunity to generate initial reviews on a product and very detailed reviews. The only caveat we put to that is when you use Vine, you are going to get typically the most detailed, thorough reviews that you could ever get for your product, and they're often photo and video reviews. If your product is great and you know your product is a great product, Vine works phenomenally well for growing your sales and growing your brand. If you've got any niggle about your product, be prepared for those to be called out in the Vine reviews. Products with some inferior qualities or slightly not perfect features about them will get called out on Vine, and that will be detrimental to the launch of your product on Amazon. Secondly, we've talked a lot about driving sales volume, but this also plays into your review strategy. The more you sell, the more reviews you will get over time, and that's just a natural factor. So we encourage brands to look at early sales in a different way to later sales in their lifetime on Amazon. In your early sales, always look at driving sales volume as quickly as you can do. often at a loss if required in the first few weeks and months of trading to help generate those initial reviews. See that as an investment in getting reviews up and running so you start to rank higher and start to convert better. Amazon's a little bit like a snowball that you're trying to push down a hill. That first push and trying to get momentum takes a lot of effort, but as it gains more weight, the same amount of effort allows that to move faster and move quicker. And the same can be said of your listings on Amazon. Over time, the effort becomes easier, the results become a little bit quicker, and that's how you've got to view it in the early days. Push hard and do everything that's required to get your reviews. Make sure that you're using Amazon's tools to request reviews. So via the Seller Central portal, you can request reviews from people that have bought your product in the past. And that's such a simple tactic that goes missed many, many times. And it's a very, very easy way of generating reviews from genuine customers that have bought your product and are quite likely, if you've got a good product, to rate you well. Then finally, make sure that you fix all customer problems positively. It's very easy when you've got a customer problem to look at that and solve it as you would in all of your other sales channels. But on Amazon, not solving a customer problem positively, or positively in the customer's eyes at least, can have a much more detrimental effect on your business by attracting negative reviews, which then impacts your rankings, which then impacts your sales. So fixing all of the customer problems on Amazon positively is an absolutely essential guideline for building a good Amazon business. In the same kind of vein, your reputation as a seller really, really matters. It's not just the reputation of your products that matter now, but your reputation, typically as a seller here more so than a vendor, really matters in getting your product ranking well. We advise here, make sure that you proactively gather seller feedback, not just product reviews. As a seller, you can ask the buyers of your product to leave you a rating. Not many sellers do that, and they don't proactively go after seller reviews. Here, this is a difficult one to overcome, but all the sellers benefit quite simply by having a longer history of seller reviews. So we'd encourage brands that are thinking about Amazon to engage in Amazon sooner rather than later, because that will just become a bigger barrier to overcome over time. Final 2 points, kind of interlinked. Make sure that you maintain your account health, and these are the KPIs that Amazon give to you, and monitor those performance KPIs every single day. Some of the obvious things to call out: make sure you're dispatching goods to customers when you say you will do, and hit Amazon's KPIs there. Make sure you're responding to consumer messages within time and within the guidelines. There are many, many more KPIs, but it's the simple things like that if not done, not checked daily, can very, very rapidly damage your reputation and hold your account backwards by damaging your rankings. So to summarise the A10 algorithm in 5 bullet points and 5 easy points as a takeaway from today. Number 1, get the foundations right. Amazon is now so competitive, and so many brands are doing an excellent job on Amazon that you can enter it now with a half-baked strategy. You have to have great listings. You have to make sure you've got your stock management nailed. You have to make sure that you're going to back it with advertising budget. You have to make sure you've got legitimate barcodes. There are no excuses or no opportunity for excuses in not getting those foundations right if you're starting Amazon today. Secondly, relevant, compelling listings. The importance of relevance in the A10 algorithm has really been upweighted. So making sure that your listings are absolutely keyword rich, relevant, but also compelling enough to drive conversion is more important than ever. Sales velocity is now really, really important in terms of the algorithm. So driving sales through every single avenue you have open to you, and that includes looking at your advertising budgets on Amazon in a different way and looking at profitability at an account level rather than at an advertising campaign level, is so much more important. The more you can sell, the more you'll succeed, and the more you succeed, the more you will sell. Number 4, naturally acquire high quality reviews and make sure you do that in volume, particularly in the early stages of an account. Chase sales volume as hard as you can, generate positive reviews at all costs, and that will pay dividends in the weeks, months and years to come. And then number 5, make sure you price competitively across channels. And as a reminder, that is both within Amazon, you've got to be priced relevant to your category, and also outside of Amazon, you've got to be in line with the price of your product on the other sales channels that you sell your product within. So finally, thank you very much for taking the time to sit through our workshop today. I hope you found that useful with some insight into Amazon, but most importantly, how you can make Amazon work for your brand in 2021. As a business, this is what we do day in, day out, plus much more. And we help brands grow their sales, sometimes from nothing to significant revenue numbers on Amazon in the UK, Europe and beyond. So whether you've traditionally seen Amazon as a threat or not done it simply because of the capacity or capability within your business, if you need a fresh injection of growth, we'd love to help, and we'd love to have a chat with your brand to see how we can help you get it off the ground. We're more than happy to offer a free, no obligation assessment of how you can make Amazon work for your business and show you how we can make that work for you. I'm Andrew Banks, and I'd love to talk to you about any opportunities that you've got for your business. My details are on the right-hand side there, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Have a great day.